All right, I'm back for DustCS's ongoing coverage of ESL Challenger Atlanta, and I'm here with rigoN from Big. So to start with you, you've been with the Big lineup now for 3 months. How has it been going, making the transition away from being on the Kosovar, Bad News Eagles lineup, Guild Eagles, now playing with the Germans on Big?
The first month was a bit rough for me because I had kind of to change my playstyle and to adapt to Big's playstyle. Now we had three LAN tournaments. I think we are improving by tournament. I think every tournament is getting better, and I think this event in Atlanta might be a good event to show where we are right now.
So does that mean the overall expectation is for you guys to do well? I know, Big has had some mixed results in recent months. I think when you first joined, it was rough for a while, like you said, but at EPL, we did see, signs of improvement. So what's the sort of mindset and expectation here in Atlanta?
I mean, we played now some online games, and we for sure, of course, we in our heads is like we want to win this event, but we have to get another mindset that everyone can beat everyone, and there's good teams here in Atlanta. So I think we are just trying to focus on ourselves, do our best. We showed in EPL what we can do. We should have even won against Mongols, in my opinion. And yeah, as I said, just focus on ourselves and try our best.
And with EPL, you guys we did see signs of improvement for there, and you did mention that you were close to beating the Mongols. While it doesn't necessarily show on the result sheet that the team has been improving, what do you think? How do you think the team has been improving? What's been the big focuses for you guys to improve, and do you think it's going to show in the server soon?
I think it's sometimes the communication when it gets tense. It gets like we have a lot of high voices and it's getting a bit chaotic. And I just think for me it was really difficult. For example, what happens on the other map, what I have to do on this map now, and I think it's just getting day by day better. And I understand my game now when my team is doing something, what I have to do on the map.
Speaking of those big voices, of course, tabseN is one of those big voices, a superstar of the German scene, Germany's number one IGL. As someone who, for those who don't know, had your start in the German scene all long ago, playing for teams like, playing for little teams like, gosh, I think you played for Epic maybe in 2018. Yeah, when you played for some little German teams, but so.
Devise
on the Bulls, yeah, the Bulls. So playing for those little teams like Devizon, now you're playing with tabseN, who's like the superstar of the German scene. What's it like working with that guy?
I mean, for me, it was always a dream to play with tabseN because he was just the legend of the German scene, I would say. Playing with him is really nice. He's a really hard worker. He helps me a lot in the game, outside of the game. He's a really good guy as well. And I learned a lot of him in those 3 months. I learned a lot of him, and he helps me a lot as well.
Uh, and for those who, like I mentioned, for those who don't know, you did have your start in the German scene, playing for some of those smaller, in the smaller teams in the Meisterschaft before making the transition to the famous, Bad News Eagles, Blink, Guild Eagle squad. I wanted to pick your brain about that. What sort of prompted you? So you started in the German scene, then how were you able to transition to the Kosovar scene? What happened in the sort of Albanian/Kosovar community that allowed for this team to sort of find its roots?
So I would say I started in the German scene, and it really didn't work out for me in the German scene because I had to work back then and I couldn't go full-time CS. So I finished my education after I qualified for FPL. My dream was just to qualify for FPL because FPL gave all the people the structure where to go. And Flutter and Synopsy back then qualified as well for FPL. And then there was a guy in Albania, Team Blink, who had the Team Blink. He got Flutter and Synopsy as well to his team. Then after some months, they wanted to create the Albanian super team. And that's where I got to the point as well to join them, and everything went up, I would say. Yeah.
And that team was, historic for a lot of reasons. I think it really brought an underrepresented region into the forefront of the CS world, and I think it, in a way, sort of paved the way for a lot of, what we've seen in the Balkans. We've seen North Macedonians have really breakthrough recently with those players. We've seen, Montenegrins are coming to the scene with players like Madden, but unfortunately, the Guild Eagles project couldn't last forever. What happened to sort of make the Guild Eagles not live up to the expectations we saw earlier with Bad News Eagles, do you think? And as a second question, were we ever going to consider roster changes with that roster, or was it just going to stay as that core of five forever? Did you guys know this was sort of like a last ride for that team?
I mean, I cannot really talk about what happened exactly, but I would say it had to do with as well a lot of background stuff happening. Um, I'm glad it finished now. What we had in this background stuff, we finished it, but replacing someone was never in our ideology, to be honest. But as I said, the background stuff got so much into my head and the other said that it had like the chemistry wasn't good anymore, and I would say it was our decision to split up and just to look whatever is best for each other.
And now with you being on Big, it's a very different environment. I know you talked to Louis Mira of HLTV, I believe, at Cologne, and he talked about you. He actually talked to tabseN, rather, excuse me, and he talked to you bringing a sort of a different attitude to the team, a lot of energy, a bigger voice. Is that something that they've had to adapt to, having a player who's somewhat different from how they like to play the game? And how have you do you think you've evolved as a player since joining Big?
Okay, so first of all, what was good for me? I think I adapted them with a lot of like the brotherhood. I would say like the cheering, the winning style, the champion mentality to help them. Like when you see someone, I think if you see someone when he shouts, when he wins a round, or he wants to win, and I think you affect the teammates as well with it. And what was the other question? Sorry.
And do you think they struggled to adapt to you initially, or was it a good mix from the start? Because obviously that Bad News Eagles team had a lot of like simpatico. Those got, it was like a brotherhood, like you said. Where this is definitely more of a professional, suits on kind of team.
I thought so as well when I joined. I thought it's like the suits on team, but I think they're normal guys as well. I think of course it's a professional team, but I think you just have to have the brotherhood even in a professional team to work it out. Yeah.
And we sort of touched on it earlier that you want to have a deep run here. This event comes right before the Shanghai RMRs, which is the big thing for every team here. Every team here is here so they can prepare for the RMRs. How are you guys feeling about those RMRs coming up?
I feel great. I mean, I think I'm an RMR specialist. I've done this multiple times. We qualified online as well pretty easily, I would say. I mean, we had one loss the first game, one loss against Passion UA. I think it was a slipper. But otherwise, I feel really comfortable and great, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's rigoN, and we're going to see them in action tomorrow as they attempt to make a deep run here at ESL Challenger Atlanta. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll let you get back to work.